Hello, it's Lexi here. Now, I'm going to answer a question I get quite a lot about using head trash clearance. And so the question I received today goes a little bit like this. Ever since trying the first time, my chest has been so tight, like the tightness you get in your chest with anxiety, she says. It's like all that emotional energy just didn't leave my body, but instead just got trapped in my chest area. So she's asking, what should I do from here? What am I doing wrong? I've gone through the whole process. I'm putting my hands in the right position. I'm doing all the things that you say. What's going on? That's what she wants to know. And so I just want to address this because this happens a lot. And it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. The fact that you're now noticing something means that something is shifting. It just means that you haven't finished. So when I advise you to stay with every mantra for about 2 minutes, I need to sort of come up with something that is going to fit most people. But we've all got differing amounts of emotional energy that needs to be released. And this amount of emotional energy that needs to be released will be not only different for everybody, but will vary depending on how much of this clearance work you've already done. So one thing I observe a lot is that people who are at the beginning of their head trash clearance journey, they need a lot longer holding the tap position and with each mantra. They just need to spend longer at each stage because there's just so much energy that needs to be released. Whereas when you've done, when you've maybe got 20, 30 clearances under your belt, there's a lot less energy there because there's so much has been released already. And so you can get them done a lot quicker. So generally speaking, if you've already noticed a shift and then some of this energy is moving through you and it's getting stuck somewhere, then it means that you need to carry on, that you need to go back and sit with, either repeat the process until it passes. Now, sometimes you might be doing a clearance, you think, oh my God, this is going on forever. It's just not shifting. And that's because there's a lot there. So I've had an experience where, I've been clearing using this method for well over 10 years now. And so I feel like I've seen it all in terms of my own clearance journey. And yet it wasn't that long ago where I decided to do a clearance on something. And, normally they take me 5-10 minutes to do it. And I needed to do it for an hour. There's so much coming up. It was like I'd hit an underground reserve of something that just suddenly it just all started. It needed a way out. And I was just giving it that way out. And then when I'd finished, I felt completely spent and I had to go to bed. I was just wiped. And so this could be, if you're getting this kind of experience where you've noticed a shift, the energy is kind of hit somewhere in your body. So like this person saying it's hit the chest area. And then now and then you stop the clearance because I've reached my 2 minutes. I need to stop now. No, this is where you need to stick with it. So, this is why it's really important before you start doing the clearance to tune into it. And so, once you've identified what it is that you're working on, step 2 is tuning into that. How does this make me feel? How is this showing up for me in my head, but also in my body? What am I noticing in my body when I tune into this thing? And then to rate that out of 10 in terms of intensity. So, whatever you're working on, always, if you start out with a number that you've given it out of 10, then if you're partway through a clearance, then just check back in with yourself and see where that number is now. Has it gone down? Has it gone down a lot? Has it gone up? Because this is going to help you to guide you when you're clearing your own head trash. Typically, what I see when people dive into doing one clearance, depending on what it is, but this is a general pattern, is you just see that kind of that bell curve going where, at the beginning, there'll be a lot of energy suddenly just starts coming out. You start processing, a lot of releasing going on. You might get tearful, you might get tight chest, deep breathing, you might want to cry, not actually cry. All these things might be going on for you. And this is the beginning of that energy shifting within you. And it could get really intense. It could build up in a way that might feel uncomfortable or emotional. And at that point, some people then back out because they're like, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, no, I had all this contained. Now it's coming out. This is not what I wanted. And then they stop. No, that's not what you do. it's coming out. So now you just need to stand back and let it come out. Okay. So if you are experiencing this huge release, an emotional release, an energetic release, then stick with it, because something is shifting and you just need to stick with it. Now, so that would be my main advice, is that essentially you've not stuck with that clearance long enough and you might need to repeat it. Now you might say, well, I've done it 3 times. Why is it still happening? Well, maybe you just need to keep doing it some more. But if that doesn't resonate with you, if you think, well, no, I feel like there's something else, then here's what that could be. When you're going through a clearance, be aware of what's going on in your head as you're going through this clearance. So yes, be aware of your body and how things are shifting, how things are maybe moving through your body. Generally, the energy, I find, either goes up or goes down. So, but most of the time I tend to find that it goes up, or at least it starts at the center and moves out. So it might sort of start gurgling in your tummy, move up to your chest, then it becomes a burp, and then it becomes heartburn, and then it becomes a yawn or a burp, or a, it kind of wriggles out that way. Or maybe if it's in your limbs, it might kind of tingle down your arm or tingle down your legs or something like that. That's generally what I see. So keep track of any movement. And so if you've maybe started in your stomach and it's now in your chest, then I would imagine that it's just going to carry on going upward. So just stick with it until you can feel it moving upward, right? So that's about being tuned into your body, but also keep tuned into your mind. What are you noticing when you're going through the mantras? How are you feeling about these situations or circumstances that surround the theme that you're working on? Is your thinking shifting slightly? Your perspective shifting? Are you becoming aware of, oh, well, now this has made me feel this, and now I feel angry about this situation, or the way that I reacted, or now I don't feel angry about this, but now I feel sad about this. There's going to be an evolution going on. So listen out for that, watch out for that shift, because often the thing that you're noticing that comes up, that makes itself known during a clearance, is the next thing you need to work on. It's what's connected to this. So in this example I've had here, where there's this anxiety, the feeling in the chest, then the question I'd be saying at this point is, well, what is it that you're working on? And what is it that you're feeling now about the thing that you're working on? What else is going on? What else is coming up for you? Are there any other memories or experiences that you're being made aware of that are coming to mind that have a similar theme, but maybe now that need to be on your list? So, for example, when somebody's working on control, for example, they might be working on being in control versus being out of control. And in working on control, they realize that the reason they want to be in control of everything is because they don't trust anybody else to do it. So there's a lack of trust. So that's why they're in the control. And until they feel they can trust, till trust is done, the control thing's not going to be fully clear, because trust is a huge reason. It's a huge part of why they don't relinquish control. So trust needs to be worked on next. And it might be that you need to go and clear trust, and then you come back and do control. And only then control can really be fully released. So it's really about having a high level of self-awareness as you're going through these clearances, as to what's coming up, what's presenting itself to you, what else are you becoming aware of, what is this connected to, what else does this situation that I'm trying to address clear, what else am I noticing about how I feel about this? Just be curious about what's going on, and see what comes in. And that will give you clues as to why things aren't shifting. There's always going to be something connected to it. If you haven't spent long enough time doing the clearance, then it's because it's connected to something else. Now, there are different ways that it can be connected to something else. So like I've just given you an example where the control could be linked to trust, but maybe there's a trauma where you lost total control once and it was deeply traumatizing. And so maybe there's a trauma there that you need to address and heal, linked to this theme. So that could also be, so think about, well, do I have any experiences in my life that were difficult, traumatic, or even emotionally significant, strong, defining moments, experiences you can remember that were really oh yeah, no, but I remember that time that I was, that I like whatever, that I was abandoned at the park, or that I lost my dad in the supermarket, or whatever. You might not think of those as traumatic, but they're memories that are very strong and that have an emotional component that's really significant. Those things will be part of this. So always be open-minded, always be curious about what else is connected. Our head trash is not a bag of peas, it's a plate of spaghetti. Okay, they're not these tiny things you can just pick off one by one, and they're not connected to anything else. It's a big tangly knotty mess, and you pull one out and it's going to get caught in something else. And so, well, what is it getting caught on? What's that thing that you need to clear out? When I have to brush my hair, I got a big knot, I don't just gotta go, oh yeah, I'm going to put my brush through there. I have sometimes just pick it out and comb bits out and pull strands out, and then that's when I can loosen the knot and work through it. The head trash that we have is the same. It's a connected knot of stuff that's got lots of themes, lots of things tied up within it. So it's about figuring out what those things are and picking all those individual strands out. So that could be why this emotional energy that has now worked its way up here is feeling like it's stuck. And it can also explain why sometimes when you think, well, now it's made it worse, I feel worse now. No, you haven't made it worse. You've just you're halfway through a job and you haven't finished the job. Just like when you want to renovate your kitchen, at some point you've got to rip the old one out. And then when you've done that, your kitchen looks worse. But you wouldn't then go, oh, well, I'm going to stop here. No, you keep going, don't you? You keep going until you put the new one in. And then you can go, hey, yay, nice new kitchen. So it's being aware, asking the right questions, and then keep going, taking one step at a time. And then you will see difference in how you feel and how you look at the world. So I hope that's been helpful for you on your head trash clearance journey. Bye for now.